Hello and welcome to this special edition of Good Advice series. Now this will be in several parts and the idea is to sort of explain to you how to buy a proper computer for a working environment. I'll give you several options to choose from, sort of basic computers and something more advanced, maybe usable for programming and maybe more like video editing, something a bit more heavier in terms of performance. I'll show you some of these different things. I'll explain differences between different components, and I'll also explain some ways that you can actually get these computers, buy them, collect them, assemble them, and do all those different things. Now, all this is very important, and it is important to clear some things up because you might be thinking you need this and that, but the reality might be quite different, and maybe I'll help you save a bit of money along the way. Now, in this first part of these special series, I will kind of explain to you a few options in terms of buying a computer, how you can actually buy it, and what you need to get in general, and what kind of a computer you can get. I'll also touch on that, and then I will give you some bit of advice on what to buy and what not to buy. So with that said, let's jump in now. First of all, let's discuss some of these options in terms of setting up your workspace. Now, it might be for your own sort of personal home-based workspace, or it might be your office for several people, okay? And initially what you have to sort of decide between is a normal, regular computer and a laptop computer, okay? Something that you can carry, but at the same time something that will not last as long, something that will be more expensive for the same amount of performance you get it from, okay? And there's also an issue, perhaps a bit of a health issue with a laptop, and you can't really set it up in a sort of proper way where you have your hands properly in the right places. It's all in one little square, okay? So laptop, in my opinion, is a bad option, okay? It is a bad option unless, of course, you need to travel, unless you need to carry that laptop to maybe a different room to connect it to a some kind of a presentation device, okay? Some kind of a screen and then show something, or maybe you need to get a drink with someone and carry the laptop to do some business alongside that. If you need a laptop, you need a laptop. But if you do not need one, if you're not going to be sort of mobile with it, okay? If you're not going to carry it anywhere, do not even consider buying a laptop. It will be a lot more expensive, okay? A bit more expensive, you might argue, but that's not really the issue, okay? That's really not the issue. The issue will be the durability. Now, a proper desktop computer, that box that you have all the components in, it can breathe easily, okay? It will not overheat, and it will last longer, okay? It will last longer. There are some other additional issues with durability, okay? But in general, a laptop will last not as long as a normal, regular desktop computer. That's just how it works. Basically, you buy a laptop, it will be probably, you can expect it to be good for 2 years, okay? 2 years, 3 years. If you're not abusing it, if you're not carrying it too much, if you're not exposing it to the heat, but if you are carrying it in the backpack, it probably gets hot and maybe it gets a bit humid in the rain, or maybe even wet, and it might get ruined quite quickly. But again, if you need to carry something, you need a laptop, of course. Now, In these series, in one of the parts, I will touch on laptops. I'll sort of explain differences between them and sort of what you need for it to maybe last a little bit longer and what you don't need to be inside that laptop box. I will explain all that, but mainly we will focus on a sort of regular computer. It's a better way to actually understand what the numbers mean on different components, and then you can also apply that on a laptop as well. But again, my advice to you is don't consider a laptop unless you need a laptop, okay? Otherwise, just go with a normal computer. A normal one can last you for at least 5 years. Some little component might fail, but it will cost maybe 20 or 50 bucks to fix it. Not something major usually. Okay, you do need to clean them. Obviously, you can't really clean a laptop, and that's one of the problems with them. You can't really clean them. You need to blow the air, but you need to sort of disassemble it somehow, but you can't do that because the warranty will expire and all these different things. So there's really no good reason to buy a laptop unless you need to carry it on. Now, I've been going on about laptops for a bit too long now. Okay, so now these computers, now you can buy them assembled. Okay, you can buy them assembled. This is not exactly what we will look at in these series. Okay, we will look at different parts, but then I'll sort of touch on that and tell you what you need to tell the person, tell the clerk in the store, at the store, in terms of what you're looking for. Okay, so you can buy them assembled, pre-assembled in the store, order them, but you can also pay someone to actually assemble a custom one, a custom computer. Tell them what parts you prefer to have, and then they will just basically get the motherboard in, get the box, the case in, and put it all together, install the operating system, and make it work. Now, I believe this option is a little bit better. You have a lot more room to customize, and they will usually offer you quite a decent deal. In terms of looking at all of these components, we will be looking at Amazon and Newegg, a platform, a sort of online shopping, technology shopping kind of a place for these various computer components. We will look at both of them. Mainly we will look at these components in Amazon. We will look at the specifications. Now, I'm not saying you should buy from Amazon. I'm not saying you should buy from Newegg, but the reason we have two platforms here is so that I can show you how to compare the prices. It can be a bit tricky comparing prices of these different components, but I will explain to you what to actually look for, how to get that sort of exact match. You do want an exact match, and it can be a bit troublesome. Okay, so this is what we will learn. Okay, and we have three options basically. Buy a laptop, which I obviously, as I said, do not recommend. Buy a normal computer already assembled, plus all the mouses and keyboards and things like that. Okay, or you can get a guy to actually collect them, which might actually be cheaper if you're buying in bulk, say 5 or several more computers for your whole office space. Now, with all that said, we will conclude this first part, and we will take a look at something a bit more specific in the next one.